good friend Jim Lambright is busy on the beach right now, always says realtors are showing up on time. So we're glad to have everybody here. My name is John Herhold. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and welcome to the Grow Global Monday Mastermind. Just a couple housekeeping items. I'm going to kind of do a quick screen share to show you guys a couple things that we've been working on and building for everybody. But we do have a YouTube channel. I figured I'd show it. We're going to put it in the chat for you. But all of our previous replays are listed here. So we've got a ton of relevant content. We've been doing these every month since the beginning of the year. We've got a ton of relevant content here. I'm going to post this in the chat. It's our YouTube channel is Why Grow Global 1. Why 1? I don't know, but that's all that was available. So that's what we got. And we also have a website where we have a schedule where we do these things every single week on Monday. And here's our little advertisement for today. But if you've got a topic you want to hear, you can go to whygrowglobal.com, click on the events tab, and then this page will come up, and here you can suggest a topic. And we also have tomorrow, we have open hours with Rob. That's at a different Zoom link, growglobalopenhours.com. And Rob used to own a bunch of RE/MAX offices, and he's been super successful in the real estate business for quite some time. And this is a place, if you got something you're stuck with, if you've got a deal maybe that's going sideways, or you want to figure out how to do something and you got some questions, this is a great place to come. This is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time, open hours with Rob Campbell. And then we're excited about today. So let me just kind of stop the share here. And so I'm excited. We've got a brand new facilitator with us, but she's not brand new to real estate. She's a top producer. She comes from a real estate family. Her and I were just catching up a little bit. Her mother's been in real estate for quite some time. She had a great mentor when she first got into the business, and that helped her get on the right track. And she's here to share with you today how she farms neighborhoods down in Atlanta. Aretha, take it away, girl.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Aretha Langley. I am in the Atlanta area. I serve the Metro Atlanta area as well as Florida. So I do market in Florida as well. And one of the biggest topics, that a lot of agents want to talk about when they're just getting started is transitioning over from a buyer's agent to a listing agent. We all know that people have talked about that, that it is the most important once you are able to shift your business to that listing side. Because one, we get to drive less, which we all love to do, and you're not driving buyers around all day long. So when I first began in real estate, I started as a buyer's agent myself, and I knew that I wanted to drive less, I wanted more time with my family, and I wanted to keep the flexible schedule that we all, wanted when we began. So one of the biggest things that I went to my mentor about and said was, I need help with learning how to really farm communities, neighborhoods, and I want to be the go-to local expert in my area. So one of the biggest things that most people do when they look at becoming a listing agent is direct mail. So I said, how do I start? What do I do to begin direct mail? So I want to begin today with a presentation that I put together. It's a PowerPoint where you all will be able to take some notes, learn some of the strategies that I've used when it comes to farming in a neighborhood. So let me share my screen. And I do like you guys to be interactive, engage some. So I will be asking you throughout the training today and presentation, to raise your hand, to comment in the chat box. That way I know you guys are getting the information and it's sinking and permeating, okay? So let's see here.
And you muted Aretha by accident, of course.
Okay, you can hear me? I said, am I able to share my screen? Okay, there we go. It popped up now. Thank you. So the first step is how to farm your neighborhood. So when farming, most people want to know, what is farming? It's not, going out buying some land, chickens, cows, and everything else. Farming in this business is when you have an actual marketing strategy that agents use to establish themselves as the go-to expert in the area. So that is what farming is. You're going out and proving yourself through a nice expert marketing strategy to establish yourself as a local expert in the area or in a particular neighborhood specifically. Okay. So there's three components of direct mail, and everyone wants to know. The first one is list. Where do you start? You have to have a list that you put together. And today I will show you some of the systems that I use for creating lists and mailing labels. The next component you want to have for direct mail is tracking. You have to have some type of tracking system so that you're able to track your results. And the third is consistency. I train agents. I am a certified mentor within GrowGlobal. So one of the things I talk about with some of my agents is consistency. A lot of the times we go after something, we start a new strategy, we don't get results fast enough or to our liking, and so we feel that it's not working. I'm here to tell you today that is completely not true. That's a limiting belief that you have, and you want to stay consistent. One of the biggest keys in this industry is staying consistent. A lot of people win just off of consistency. I'm no different from any or each of you that are attending this training today. So the farming process, I like to go through a timeline that is called EDDM. Now, for some of you that may not be aware what EDDM is, it stands for Every Door Direct Mail. So EDDM is a service that we all have access to that the United States Postal Service started and began. And I personally like using EDDM because it is a very affordable way to get your postcards and your mailings out to a particular area, community, or neighborhood. Postcards, that's the second process to this timeline. So you'll go in, you'll create a postcard, which we'll show you some sites today that you could use for that. Create your postcards. And I'm also going to show you an awesome bonus strategy that I use for postcards where you can actually do this process to little to no money down or almost free, depending on how you strategize the method that I'll show you today. The third step to this process is creating your list. You need a list, you need addresses so that you can farm to those areas. So creating your list and picking out that community or area that you wish to market within. And then the fourth step is going to be dropping off your postcards at your local postal service so that they can mail those out for you. Okay, so how many of you use EDDM today? If you would type me in the chat box if you're currently using this method today for direct mail. So now we want to talk about resources. So some of the resources for your mailing list, some that I use, not sure how many of you are a part of a local board, but with GrowGlobal, we are a part of local boards, and you gain access to something called RPR. This is a website, if you're not familiar with it, that you have access and availability through the National Association of Realtors. So if you haven't set up and established your RPR website yet, this is something that you definitely want to take a look at. I do have the website here for you at the bottom where you can actually go on and create an account as long as you are a member of a local board. I also utilize my local MLS systems. So in Georgia, I have access to the FMLS and the Georgia MLS. I am a realtor in both systems. So I like to use both of those components as well because we have some really awesome marketing tools within the platform that you can use for no money at all since you are a member of that MLS system. And then FSBOs. I always like to market to FSBOs. There's many different websites out there that you can use and strategize, use to actually put together your list and marketing list as well. You have for sellbyowner.com, FSBOs.com, and some of the others out there that you can pick up free lists from. So Farming in Remine is the database we use for FMLS. I am going to pull that up for you all today to show you that as well, and then show you the NAR system also. So let me take you in Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So this is the NAR RPR system. So here you have the website. I've already logged in. Once you come into NAR, you've created your actual website. You come in, they give you guided tours for each item that is a part of the system component. I usually come in, I'm ready for a mailing list, and I want to start farming a particular neighborhood. So I'll come into NAR RPR and I'll select prospecting. Once you select prospecting, it's going to ask you, what do you want to prospect for? Are you looking to prospect for clients? And do you want buyers or sellers? So of course, for listings, we're going to be prospecting for sellers. So you would click sellers, and it's going to actually take you all completely through a guided tour. And this will happen each time you log into your RPR system. So it's nothing you really have to remember. You follow the guided tour, and it takes you through the process of creating the labels. Now with EDDM, I usually start with an amount of about 1,000 homes, because 1,000 homes is a good number to get your face out there and for you to be top of mind. So once you click prospecting and you choose sellers, you would click on research, and then you would go to map search. You can click on map search to then either look for and prospect for residential or commercial. Now for listings in the residential market, you want to make sure you have it set to residential.
Can you reset? Can you do me a favor? Can you reset your screen? Your screen is displaying, but it's not displaying what you're talking about.
Okay, hold on 1 second for me.
We're seeing a PowerPoint, not a website. There you go.
Okay, so you see the website?
Now we
Perfect.
see the website. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let me go back here for you. Okay, so we would click on prospecting here, and then you would choose sellers. Once you choose sellers, you would click on research. Once you go to research, you'll click your map search, and then you'll see residential or commercial. So for sellers, you'll always want to make sure that it's on residential, okay? Once you go to residential, then you can enter a zip code. So say there's a particular city that you would like to market to and prospect. So I'll choose Ackworth. It comes up here and it shows me everything in Ackworth. But to break this down, because now I have a result of 358 properties, I want to choose more filters and then have an advanced search set up. So you'll want to choose public records here, take it to public records, click next. For the best results, you always want it to be a total of 500 or less. Okay, right now it's showing 5,000 or more. So we want to narrow that down some. So now I'm going to start choosing strategies to narrow that list down. So I want to choose owner occupied because I want owner occupants. If you choose to have absentee owners, you could select both. But right now I'm mainly focused on people that want to actually sell their home and I want to farm too. So I have owner occupied selected. Then I want to select the length of time that they've owned their property. Let's say they've owned their property 5 to 10 years, 10 to 15, 15 to 20. On average, I want someone that's been in their house definitely over 5 years, because the average time that a person stays within their property and wants to sell is anywhere from 5 to 7 years. Then they are thinking about the strategy of possibly selling. So for the sake of breaking down the amount of homes and mailing labels that have come back, I'm going to choose 10 to 15. I'll choose 5 to 10 as well. Once that has come, once you've made that selection and any others that you choose to make, you can make any other selections that you want to narrow that down. If there's a certain price point you'd like to market to, you can narrow that down as well by price, by size of home. So you can put in many different filters to market that down, to trim that down. So then you'll click update and search. Too many results. So now we're going to go back to our filters and we're going to take off some of the properties. Maybe I only want single family homes. Okay. So now I just want single family homes, and maybe I only want homes that are 4 bedrooms and more. So now we're at 3421. Okay. Maybe I want 4 to 4 bedrooms only, and 2 to 2 baths. Okay, now I have 43. So that's a good number, for example, if you want it. I'm just trying to narrow it down for you guys right now so you can see the concept of it. But again, around 500 to 1,000 is going to be a good number to narrow that down to. Once you're ready, you click update and search, and now you'll be ready to generate the mailing labels. This process literally can take you literally 10 minutes to create a whole list of mailing labels. So once you select mailing labels, you can choose what format you'd like those to be within. Maybe you want them in a CSV file, a PDF. I like to use CSV just because it's easier for Excel and to convert to other systems. So I've chosen CSV. I come down and I look at the type of property. So what type of property do I want? Do I want the property address or do I want the tax billing address where the actual tax bill goes? Now, we chose owner occupied earlier in the selection, so I'm going to keep it on property for now, but this just shows you that you could narrow it down to make sure it gets to that actual owner by sending it to whichever address their tax bill goes to each year. And then next, I want to address them to the owner's name. Now you could choose owner name or current resident or just current resident. So let's say, for example, you're reversing this and you're looking for buyers. You could send this to the current resident if you're dealing with absentee owners and you're targeting their tenants, for example. Then you come down to your filters. I want all either owner occupied or absentee owner. I can exclude any listed properties because again, when you are working as a real estate agent, there are real estate laws around marketing to other agents' listings for sale. So I can exclude all of that and have the system do it for me. And I can also exclude any properties that are on the do not mail list by checking those. So you see right here over to the right, you have an export status. RPR gives you 2,000 records per month at no additional charge. In the event you want more than 2,000 records per month, you could pay additional for that service, but 2,000 is plenty. Okay, so I literally came in here, established a free account. I go in, I pull my mailing list, I narrow it down per area, city, or neighborhood, export my list, and I'm done within 15 minutes. So this shows you here in this record, there's 43, okay? So you can export those. They come down and let's see, let me share my screen just in case you're not able to see it. Are y'all able to see the list here?
No, it just shows that it was downloaded. We don't see the actual list.
Okay, hold on one second for me.
We're still on the NARS. There you go. Now we see it.
Yep.
Perfect. So as you can see, it put the list together for you and it gave you all of the information that they have in record, the property address, the city, state, zip, the tax full address. So you still get the tax information if they're on the do not mail list or not. And we put not to include any that were on there. So you can double check your information prior to ever mailing to this list. Okay, so you get full record here. You can take that information and take it to the post office and then send out your list for your farming list. So let me take you back to the presentation. Give me 1 second.
Hey, while you're doing that, Amber has a question. Can you take a question?
I sure can.
All right, Amber, go ahead. Unmute and go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I don't have a question. Is my hand raised?
Yeah, your hand was raised. All right, no big deal.
I'm
And
sorry.
by the way, that if anybody does have any questions, feel free to either raise your hand or put them in the chat, and we will get to them. But go ahead. Thank you.
Perfect. So now farming your area for free. That's what I just showed you all. Going into RPR, for example, pulling that list, you pick 1,000 houses, okay? That's a good number for you to begin with. Then it's 20 cents to 25 cents per address with EDDM at your local postal service. You don't have to print mailing labels. All you do is you go down to your postal office, you fill out a form, you go and create your postcards, you get your mailing list, you take them back and you drop off the postcards. to them so they can go ahead and mail them out for you. So very, very minimal work needed to start farming. And then it's consistency, continuing to do that. Now, most people want to know, how do you farm for free? So what I learned from another great realtor who's actually within our organization was picking 4 trades to advertise on the back of each of your postcards. And so this is thinking outside the box with a different strategy, especially for a lot of newer agents or agents that are advertising on a budget. So you pick 4 trades, you charge each of those trades $75 for advertising. 1, they get to advertise their business. 2, you get to do and advertise your business at little to no money with each of your direct mail campaigns. You can rotate out each of the trades. That way, if you want to give exposure or you're not going back to the same trade each month, because I recommend definitely farming and touching your farming area once every 30 days. That way you stay top of mind and you are that go-to. People continue seeing your cards come through the mail, and sometimes you're sending many different types of cards. You don't want to send the same type of postcard each time. You want to change it up. You want to have a variety, and you want to show them that you are the expert in many different arenas. Okay. So the next thing, once looking at those 4 trades, and I'm going to give you guys some examples of those trades, but they're getting that free advertising and you are as well. So some of the best trades to partner with. In our business, there's so many different trades that can go hand in hand with real estate. So here are some lists of some of the different trades that I market with, and they love it. I mean, air conditioning companies, appliance companies, closing attorneys, alarm systems, cleaning services. I like to give back as much as I can to small businesses because each of us, we are a business as well. So I like to give back. It gives them the exposure and it helps your business expand as well. So these are some good examples of some of the different trades that you guys could think of, to partner with for your business. And then you put a small advertisement, their name, their logo, and what have you on the back of your postcard, and they're getting that advertising as well. So postcard designs, who do I use for those? Some of them I create on my own through Canva. I use Rocket Mail through Remind, which is in the FMLS system. So you may want to look at your local MLS system to see what direct mail companies they have and postcard companies that they have access and partnerships with, and then see if you can get a discounted rate through those. I know Rocket Mail is a great resource for that. Canva, you can design your own templates. I do use gotprint.com. They come to you very quickly. They're very inexpensive. This is the price here for about 1,000 postcards. So you can go in, create those, get them mailed, and drop them off at the postal service, and it's 25 to 35 bucks. You're already getting $300 from the actual trades that are advertising on the back of your postcards. And then Wise Pelican. Wise Pelican is another system that I use. That is just wisepelican.com, and I will show you all some of the designs. If some of you are not familiar, has anyone out there used Wise Pelican before? If you would, you can put your answer in the chat box for us. If you are familiar with it, have used it. Let's see.
Yeah, we've got one that's responded. Bano's used it, and Tracy has.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm actually logged into the Wise Pelican website now. What I love about Wise Pelican is they offer a lot of really eye-catchy designs, because when you're doing direct mail, you want to make when we get, we all get stuff in the mail all the time. So I go to my mailbox, I have all these flyers, I have all these postcards, and I just look at them and throw them in the trash can on the way back into the house so I don't have clutter, right? So I always look at what would catch my eye if I was going to my mailbox and I had all this mail and I don't like the clutter. I don't want all of the clutter in my house. Let me see what's going to catch my eye. So these are just some of the designs and ideas that Wise Pelican has. They're all very eye-catchy, bright colors. You can do anywhere from recipe cards. You can do national holidays, federal holidays. I work a lot with veterans, so military business is a great niche to get within. You can do sports schedules. There's so many endless ideas of what you could send out. and Wise Pelican already has the templates created for you. The other nice thing with Wise Pelican is they offer tracking. You're only as successful as your tracking. You have to have some type of method, system, and methodology to actually track your results. So they will track them for you. They will let you know if they were delivered. And you can also set this up on a reoccurring subscription. So each time you place an order, they will give you so much percentage off for your next order if you go ahead and place that the same day. So I love that aspect because I put it on repeat and I don't even have to go back, think about it. Every 30 days, I can have a postcard going out to my farming neighborhood. Okay.
Awesome. Hey, just a couple of comments that have come in here.
Yes.
Tracy Boss Move Wiggins said she's done this years ago. Kim, in her infinite wisdom, then why have you stopped? And Tracy, thank you for your transparency, lack of understanding and consistency. So this call is a major blessing. Advertised the home I sold in another subdivision, so she got another listing, which is great. Congratulations. And then Sarah Berry said she's also gotten some great design ideas and packages from Etsy. And
yes, it's a great
helps
one as well.
style too. So yeah, so great comments. Keep the comments coming, guys.
Awesome. So yes, so definitely good comments. Thank you for those comments. And postcards is something that's awesome. Now, just to kind of hindsight and spin off of that, once you have farmed your neighborhood, you've gotten some business, you've listed some properties, you've sold them. Each state has a certain law for how many days that yard sign can stay up. Georgia, we have 10 days. Okay. So what I do to take an extra step is once you sell that home, go to whoever you go to for your local signs. I use a local company because I like to order them and pick them up as soon as they're ready. I don't want to wait for them to be shipped in the mail, but however you do that, whatever your strategy is, once you've sold that home and you've listed it, closed it, ask your seller if you're able to put a just sold sign in the yard for that, only to that period of that 10 days, because you have by law in the state of Georgia 10 days to get that sign. But then that's continued advertising for you within that community. So it's just like the directional signs that you can get printed out from your sign companies. You can get them to do a customized brand sign for you as well for just sold. Leave them out and then pick them up before that final day. Okay. So that's something I learned and picked up years ago as well.
Awesome.
So topics, again, you saw some of them just now that I showed you on Wise Pelican, but there's many different types you can do. The recipe cards, the sports schedules, QR codes for scan me for an instant home valuation. Hello, not just your neighbor. Not long ago, I sold a house in the beginning of my neighborhood and did the same strategy with a family that was actually relocating here from Colorado, a military family, and did the same thing, put my yard sign up. And now I have other people within my neighborhood and community reaching out to see about, they're thinking about selling, or they just want to know what their home is worth or a valuation for their home. And so the signs, the marketing, the continued marketing and touching does really help. And again, if you don't see the results fast enough, just stick in there, keep doing it, because they will come. It's just something that takes a little bit longer and it takes consistency. You have to continue. But a lot of times people will give up right before that change is about to happen. So don't do it, just stick to it and continue marketing and strategizing on how you can become the local expert in your area and the local expert in your neighborhood. So after you get everything together, you've designed your postcards, mail out your list, and repeat. You have to have that consistency. So touch your farming list at least once per week. Also, something else I do when you're farming, it's not just postcards. I also do pop buys. So if you have any pop buy ideas, there's a lot of sites and groups that are out there that give really amazing ideas for pop buys, even to retouch the ones that you've actually sold to. Because again, you want to become that local expert and you want to expand your business exponentially. So don't forget about your past clients. Make sure to continue marketing to them, dropping off little pop buys, doing things, they don't have to be very expensive. There's so many different ideas I've done over the years. I use Canva, create my own. Etsy, as someone mentioned earlier, great sources and resources for getting those out there. And then, of course, you can never go wrong with the personal letter drop by or a personal touch. People like to see that you took the time to personally handwrite them a letter. And it could be, a handwritten letter about a home valuation, a free consultation with you. So remember, personalization is always a winner, even, with gift giving and giving gifts to your clients. So definitely keep that in mind, adding that personalized touch to each one. And I thank you all for coming today. That's everything I wanted to show you all. Is there any questions, or does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I'm going to go through. We do have a couple questions. Tracy Boss Moves Wiggins says everything looks great. Great training. She definitely put the sign in the yard for at least 5 days. It helps big time. And then Lana out in Arizona says great info. Curious to hear your numbers. How many years have you farmed same subdivision? How many postcards have you sent to them? How many calls, appointments, closed transactions? I don't know if you're tracking that stuff that deep. And how much time and money have you invested? Do you have any anything you can share on that?
Yes. So in the area of Ackworth, I have farmed, let's see, I've been doing it now since the beginning of this year. And so I touch about 2,500 homes within my farm list. So there's about 2,500 that I touch. Within that 2,500, I've gained 5 listings within that 2,500 for this year just alone. I've closed all of them. And for this past 12 months, for the past however many months, where are we now? October. So for the past 10 months, I've closed 39 homes, with half of those being from my farming database.
Awesome. Any other questions? Yes. Alana says, great job. A lot of people are blowing up. Great info. Tracy Boss Move Wiggins says fire. Stephanie Gillison says great job. And Stephanie, is compliment from Stephanie means everything. Let me tell you. So
She
anyway,
doesn't compliment, okay?
Yeah, she doesn't, especially me.
She will chew you up and spit you out. Like, you should do better.
That's right. But hey, great job, especially first time being here and pouring in everybody. Awesome. Please stick around because we might have some more questions for you. Now we're going to move to our second facilitator, Alex Montagano from Indianapolis. Alex has been in real estate for, I think about 15 years, runs a mega team up in Indianapolis, and his team is blowing and going right now. And Alex, please take it away, my friend.
Yeah, John, thanks a bunch, man. So I got in the business in 2012. So just over, we're on year 11. But one of the things that I did when I started, and what was cool, is a lot of the presentation you guys saw is a lot of what I utilized from a mailer perspective to kind of get essentially my brand identifiable in the market that I was trying to work in. So when I started, I lived in a part of town where there was everything was on it's like 0.1 acre lots. So there's tons of houses. It's a very dense area with how many properties there are. And the properties that exist in the neighborhood is everything that would turn over, in every 3 to 5 years. So if somebody was buying the house, it was great for starter homes. And then people would jump from those houses into other parts of town that I tried to have like a brand presence in those areas as well. So one of the things that I think is important, because people are going to say, well, if I don't have listings, how do I get started? Or what are things I can do to get started in the business in these areas that I want to focus in? And one of the things that we did from a farming perspective and that I focused on was I did open houses as a way to get my face in a neighborhood. And then what I would do is I would try to connect with the people that were coming in the open houses. And so what I would do is I would take every single Sunday and I would do an open house from 12 to 2, and then I would do another one from 3 to 5. So how we were doing things from open house perspective, it was, you typically only did them on Sundays, and it was from a 12 o'clock to a 5 o'clock window. So I always tried to pack 2 open houses geographically close to each other, so I could tell the people that came in between 12 and 2 that if the house didn't work for them, I was going to be at another listing up the road. between 3 and 5 p.m. And so what that did is it made me identifiable in those geographical areas. So then what I would do is I would get a client from that and I would put them in a property and they would buy something. So then when you were doing the next open house, you could say, my client just purchased the house across the street for $225,000. And again, guys, there's a million different ways to farm, but I think what's important is the identifiability that farming makes you the market expert. Okay. So you know everything about everything that's going on in that area. So we would then go from open house to open house. We would acquire clients. And then ultimately, what we did in combination of that is I would call every single for sale by owner and every single expired listing that ever happened in that area. And I would call them till they told me to take a hike or they listed their property with me. And if that was the for sale by owners, I would check in with them every single Monday. Hey, happy Monday. How was your weekend? Did you sell your property? I'm still trying to find a buyer for you. And then ultimately they would quit like all for sale by owners do. And then I would get the listing. And then I would take that listing and I would do exactly what Aretha just said. And I would send that every door direct mailer. And I would pick the geographic radius that went around that property. And it typically was somewhere in the amount of 350 to 400 mailers. And I would only do that many because that's all I had the money to do. And then what I would do as soon as I sold the property, I would do another mailer that came behind it. So it just listed and then it just sold. And one of the things that I noticed Aretha said earlier about making that mailer stick, one thing that I believe that you could all be doing is when you send these mailers, one side you could partner with a vendor like she had talked about, and then the other side you should be putting some sort of coupon or some sort of discount code for local businesses, restaurants, coffee shops, things like that. So if you started your year and you took 12 businesses that worked in the area that you were trying to focus and you went to them and said, I want to promote your business. Can you give me a 10% off coupon? So like Aretha said, if somebody gets a mailer, the typical thing that we do is we look at it and we put it in the trash. But if there's a $5 off or a free Danish at a coffee shop or something that you're going to keep, you're going to stick that on your refrigerator and you're going to use it. And maybe you always forget to use it, but it stays on your refrigerator. Okay. So back to what we're doing. We're sending the mailers. We're in the open houses. We're in the listings. We're showing the buyers. And all of a sudden people start saying things like, we see your face everywhere. Okay. So now you're sending mailers, you're supporting the local community, you're in all these activities in the neighborhood. What we did, and a lot of people won't love this idea, but I went at that point and I paid for leads in those zip codes that I worked in. And I paid Zillow, and I still do pay Zillow. And I know some folks on these calls don't care for it, but it was a way to make sure that every single time somebody looked for real estate in 46220 zip code in Indianapolis, my face was there. So, I had just left at the time when I started doing this. I left Century 21. They wouldn't let me put my face on my real estate sign. So I left. I went to Remax. I put my face on my real estate signs. So my face was on Zillow. My face was on the mailer. My face was in the open house. My face was on the sign in the yard. And then any other mailer that I sent these people, they saw me until they either called me to sell their property or they puked. Didn't care if it was both, but they were never getting away from me. And the reason is because I was the one that did the business in the area all the time. And I was relatively new. So like we're talking me doing 15 transactions in a year, but all centered in one geographical neighborhood. Okay. So as people are starting to do this, you're getting the buy side, and then you're like, I'm fighting for sale by owners and expired listings. That's hard work. But when we started turning these over and people started moving the second time, I had listing after listing after listing after listing coming up in these neighborhoods. So what I would do with the every door direct deal is I would take, what your business is and what opportunities are coming. I would take two sections and I would overlap them. So maybe I don't have the property. Here's one, and then here's where my property is. I'd blanket both of those things. And then at the end of the year, I'm sending out a mailer that says, I sold all of these houses in your neighborhood, and it was a list. So I had the map with all the little dots on it of properties that I had sold, but then a huge list down the side of it, which was like 18 houses. And so I sent those, and I oversent them. I think I sent them twice to like 6,000 houses, and it was incredibly expensive. But people still refer to me as the king of Broader Bowl across our entire market. And I haven't done any prospecting, farming, or anything in that neighborhood in maybe 5 or 6 years. So, people will call me to this day and say, hey, Alex, can you help me comp a house? Or what do you think of this property? Or you have a client moving or whatever it is. And then we moved people into other markets. In addition to those things, leveraging the tools and things that we have today, you should be doing social media posts on all the properties that you're working. It could be your favorite listing. It could be the best deal in that neighborhood. So you could do that based on like square footage pricing. You could do the best value of the neighborhood or the best value of that particular part of town. And then the other thing I would say that would be a wise thing to do is create your own Facebook group that you're in control of. So you're in charge of who gets in and who gets out. So you may be the only realtor that works in a particular section. You invite your product vendors in and you market them. And then also you put on activities for the neighborhood. One of my team members a couple years ago had like a snow cone truck come into his neighborhood. He marketed to 2 neighborhoods and said, on this day, we're going to have a free icy treat for everybody. Come by. He put 2 coolers out, one with water, one with beer. I think he had 50 to 60 people come in there. And frankly, he did it because he got tired of losing listings in his own neighborhood. Well, now he doesn't even live in the neighborhood anymore. And now he gets those phone calls because he did something and he created an activity centered around the people in his neighborhood, which was an incredibly creative idea. So you need to be the expert of all things centered around that neighborhood. And you need to be educated on every single property, who lives where, what's going on, when the house is coming on the market. And when somebody comes into your open houses or your client or an online lead or some sort of person touches base with you relative to a property in that area, you need to know it inside out and upside down. If that's because you have to be the market expert. Otherwise, the online lead or the stranger that you don't know is not going to trust you and they're going to call somebody else who is an expert. And there were plenty of people who were quote unquote experts when I started marketing this neighborhood. And I took business from all of them because I was in every house all the time. And that's where all of my clients wanted to live. So not only did I get the business when they moved in the first time, I was reselling houses in the neighborhood to my own clients. So John buys the house this year. I sell it for John 2 years later to my own client, and I keep ownership of that listing and I keep it again and again and again and again. And you get to tell the story of what your clients, how much money they're making and how much opportunity they're creating based on the marketing strategies and the ability to farm in these neighborhoods. Who has questions? Who wants to jump into anything? I think I hit on everything, but I looked at it this way. Think of it like a social media strategy, right? How do you get the algorithm cranking? And it's how many times people can reference you or reference a post of yours or share it or comment on it or click on your hashtags, right? But if we're talking about how to physically get in front of people, it's all the activities that you need to be doing. So you need to be calling the expired listing, because when you walk into the expired listing, you get to say, my team or my boss or me has the listing up the street. Our client just bought the house down the road. You're the market expert to be able to educate on that. And it's third-party validation that somebody else hired you to sell the property, which makes you the expert to sell their property. The for sale by owners, they quit way faster when they know that you're not trying to be a pest. You're just the pro they need to hire. So you're hitting them from every angle. In addition to that, when it's the signs in the yard, they can't get away from you. You're all they think of. Just like when you get on social media right now, and whatever you looked at yesterday is all over your timelines today. So that's what I got. Who's got questions for me?
I'm going to read, we've got Amber said she's going to add a QR code to the postcards that links to her KV Core, which is the lead gen platform that she uses, provided by her brokerage. And you can scan the code to get your current home value. And then once they do that, they're dropped right into your database. So that's a great idea. Jennifer was asking, were you holding open houses for other brokerages? She can't do that at her current brokerage. Was that true?
So when I was at Century 21, that's when I started doing the marketing, and then I had switched over to Remax. I was doing, if I had my own listing, I held it open until I was blue in the face. If somebody else at our brokerage had a listing, that I would just go to them. Hey, do you mind if I hold your listing open? So I did every single chance I could to get in there and hold those open houses, especially this time of year when it's so pretty out in so many different areas. Not too hot, not too cold. Easy way to do it, because people in these areas are out walking, they're walking the dogs, they're curious about the house. It's easy to get people to pop in.
Absolutely. Thanos got a question. Go ahead, buddy.
More of a statement, back to what Alex was mentioning about Daniel doing the icy truck. I had actually left EXP, was with another brokerage, and sold a house in his neighborhood. Saw Daniel drive by, text and say, "Hey, not sure if you saw me, but just listing a house in your neighborhood." Meanwhile, me and Daniel are childhood friends, and shortly after that's when he did the icy truck, which actually gave me the idea. I just moved into a new neighborhood, and like they said, like I got on the Facebook group. I started hitting people on our neighborhood Facebook group. I've already got like 3 people calling me. Hey, do you know of any homes coming on the market? I'm getting divorced. I want to stay close by. So, using those Facebook groups to farm your local neighborhoods as well. I was off. I was dealing with a phone call. So if somebody mentioned that, sorry if I'm repeating, but that's been a great way for me to build relationships in my neighborhood already. And we've only been in here for a couple of months. And then I am also this spring, we're in the middle of renovation, but we are going to be doing a kind of like an ice cream social as well. So we got a lot of kids in our neighborhood. So hitting up the Facebook group, inviting everybody over for like a little barbecue and ice cream social. So yeah, just adding that in real quick.
Look, I would say that everybody has everyone you talk to, and it feels this way. If you're new, if you've been in the business a while, everybody will tell you they have a real estate professional that they know, like, and trust, right? Very few people that you're going to bump into, but all that stuff goes out the window when you're the expert. I know doctors, but when I have to have a surgical procedure or some major procedure on my body or on my mouth or whatever it is, I'm going to go to the person that somebody recommends that is the freaking expert. And that's how it is in this business. So if you're the neighborhood expert and Thanos coming to you saying, "Hey, let me do something that entertains your kids. I'd love to get to know you guys, and I'm investing in you guys," and nobody does that because it's selfish, you're giving back to people. Who is the first person? Your best friend who does this, out the door, gone, calling Thano. That's how it works, and that's how we are. It's the "what have you done for me lately" attitude, but it also keeps you front of center, top of mind, and in front of your clients and your peers more than anybody else.
Great stuff. Great stuff. If anybody have any questions or comments or anything that they want to interject.
For those of you that are looking at this going, "I don't have money to mail," Aretha had the idea that's free. Doing things like open houses and door knocking and being an expert in a geographical area costs no money. It's actually what your job is. So to get into your MLS and know that data, that is your job. So if you can get in and you can go door knock. My title company will create mailers and flyers and anything for me for 25 cents a piece. If you did 100 of them, it's $25 to go knock on a door and put a hanger on a door or drop something, slide it in the crack of a door to get it to stick. There are inexpensive ways to do it. And again, if somebody answers the door when you door knock, you better be able to point to the house across the street and say, "I wanted to let you know that your neighbor's house sold for this. Did you know that?" because they're going to ask you if you don't tell them. And if you don't know, what the heck are you even doing knocking on their door anyway?
Great stuff. Great stuff. Stacy Lambright says great info. You know, here's the thing I want to say this. Stacy Lambright is a top producing agent, and she came on this today saying, you know, she's usually one of our facilitators, and she said, I'm here to learn today. And what that tells me is there's a lot of people out in the market right now that are looking for ideas, even experienced agents, even top producing agents. They're getting back to the basics, and that's why we're here. And next week, we're going to be getting back to the basics, and we're going to be talking all about lead gen. You know, so don't just come next week, though. Bring a friend, right, Alex? Bring another agent. This is open to agents from any brokerage. And obviously, we don't charge anything to attend. We're just giving ideas away that can help you grow your business and elevate your business. As a matter of fact, we even got, I want to share this. I know I shared a few things earlier, but we even got a Facebook page that we created for the group, where all we do is just, you know, announce these. And again, it's just about, you know, making sure that people are aware of what we're doing. So all we're doing is promoting these, and obviously if you have referrals or you're looking for a referral, this is a great place to connect with other agents in other markets, because, you know, not only are you connecting with agents all over the country, but you're getting ideas from agents that are in different markets than you're in. So look for the GrowGlobal Mastermind Academy if you want to join our Facebook group. Also, if you want to join our subscribe to our YouTube channel, I sent the information earlier. You can go all the way up into the chat and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. But got it. Aretha, Alex, thank you guys very much. You guys really brought the heat. A lot of comments today from people that are just, your ideas are resonating with them. And I always get texts from people that were on this call saying, wow, that was great. So I'm expecting more today. We got another comment. Let's see, just making sure. Just thank you. Great information. Anyway, guys, thank you guys very much. Tracy Boss Moves Wiggins says forever the student. And that's what this business is all about, because you can always learn from somebody. So anyway, open hours tomorrow with Rob Campbell. Look forward to seeing everybody there. If you have any question, you know, please reach out, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, John.
Great job. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Awesome,
Take
guys.
care, everybody.